it's Brian, and we're trying to build the business of you. That is our mission, and connecting with people. You know, it brings me back to some do's and don'ts, and it brings me back to the 20 years that I was on the fire service before I retired from the fire department. Many times, many people can actually relate to this across the country. Volunteers and career can relate to, say, Fire Prevention Month, or when you have someone that brings a little child in and they want to see the fire trucks. And so it's funny through the years, and believe me, the firefighters joke about one another and how they do things. But I can remember thinking the do's and don'ts during some of these presentations. And it's just a fire truck, okay? And it's a kindergartner that knows nothing about it. They just see this big red truck, the BRT. And so I can remember many times having older firefighters talking to this little child or the little children with the parents in the back about this big red truck. And to the point where they completely are losing the kids, basically losing the attention of the parents, because what they're talking about is pump pressures, and they're talking about how long the hoses are. Well, a child has no idea what an inch, millimeter, foot, feet, yards, any of that is. So what are you getting into it? And how much water we have in here? They don't relate to that. And then I can remember a guy many times. This has not just happened once, and as many times before he retired, he would even get into the pension system and talk about our pension. It floored me, because what they're doing is they're reading from a brochure. They're reading from the brochure in their mind instead of connecting with the audience that they have. Turn that around, and after you make some mistakes, as I did, and try to follow people like that, you finally learn after a while that, you know what, they just want to sit in that truck. They want to honk that horn. They want to see this truck, but they don't really care about all the little things, because they're not old enough to know it. They just think it's cool. And you have to, and one of the children are challenging in the least to teach in front of, and I was lucky enough to have many groups that I would teach fire prevention to. And one way that you can zero in, and teachers do this very well, is they ask the kids questions. They let the kids answer, and they talk about what the kids want to talk about. And when you ask somebody some questions that are little bitty kids, you're going to get a whole gambit of questions that you had no idea were even on their mind at the time. Just ask a child a question, and he'll go off on such something probably about his family and everything else. What happened last night with Billy Joe and Bobby Sue? Who knows? It's crazy what the conversations actually go to. But you can really get their attention when you do that, because you're not talking at them. You're talking with them, and you're interested, and you're listening, and you're asking questions. And you have to. That's as elementary as I can get. And you have to do that to all walks of life, and be genuinely interested in the audience that you currently are speaking to.